Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to your weather forecast. My name is Mr. G, your meteorologist. This is Elite Weather, and you can check me out here every day on TikTok and YouTube, and I appreciate your support. Leave your likes, comments, and subscribe to the TikTok or to the YouTube channel, and you can leave a follow right there on TikTok. So we're looking at San Francisco, the Bay Area today. That's the Transamerica Tower there. And a beautiful day out there across the Yay area is what we used to call it when I was growing up in California. So the Bay Area, we used to call it the Yay area. So again, we're looking at a pretty nice day out there. At least there's some showers just to the north of San Francisco, as you can see on that map right there. And you can see those rain showers there over Northern California. We're looking at some wintry precipitation up in Oregon, so along the to the west of the Cascades, near Portland there to the south. Looking at Salem and Corvallis, we are looking at that freezing rain and some sleet. So we are looking at some wintry wintry precipitation for those areas. So as you continue your beautiful day out there in San Francisco, let's take a look at the forecast across the rest of the country, as we have to talk about some very cold air that most of us are dealing with right now. Alright, so let's talk about that weather forecast for the rest of the country out there, as we are in the throes of that cold air mass. That's that polar vortex sending all of that cold air down through mostly the central U.S. And we're seeing the effects of it from the Great Lakes and the Northeast down to the Gulf Coast in Texas, and then across the high plains into parts of the Pacific Northwest. Excuse me, my apologies. I have a scratchy throat because I had some top ramen for lunch, and you know that crap is really salty, so now I have salt all up in my throat. So again, so let's keep it pushing here as we talk about that cold weather forecast. It's going to dry out for a lot of the country right now. We're looking at some precipitation on each coast. We have some precipitation on the west coast from the next storm that's coming on shore. And then we have our departing storm on the east that's bringing some precipitation from the Boston area northward through New England and into Maine. So let's take a look at our first map, where we got to give a round of applause to the New England states and New York City. Yay! They finally got some snow last night, and this morning they picked up 1.4 inches of snow across the New York City area. Finally ends that 700-day snowless streak across the Big Apple. Finally, some snow fell in New York City. You got a big 1.4 inches. Congratulations, New York City. Philadelphia, you get to join the party as well. You picked up 3.3 inches of snow yesterday and through early this morning, as the snow is pulling off toward the northeast and into New England right now. But you got to pick up 3.3 inches of snow across the Philadelphia area, and we're going to be seeing some snow down across Baltimore, where you picked up 4 inches of snow. So 4.1 inches of snow across the Baltimore area is their snowless streak as well. So that is pretty cool there to see that those areas finally picked up a little bit of snow. But we do have to say that you're probably going to be a while again before you see any snow, because there is going to be some changes in the weather forecast that involves this cold air that we're seeing across much of the Midwest and the center of the country right now. We're going to be talking about some changes in the forecast as far as that is concerned, and why I think that your snow will be probably a while yet before you see more snow, especially coming from the next storm You'll see some snow again from the next storm, but you probably won't see any after that. But we'll talk all about that in just a moment. So here we are with your winter weather alerts across the Northeast and New England. And we have this through Wednesday where we're going to see a winter weather advisory across New England for the most part. And this is mainly leftover snow from the last system that brought the snow last night and this morning. We are seeing isolated to scattered showers across the Northeast and New England at this time. And here is your snowfall forecast that you're going to be dealing with through the end of the day today. And we can still pick up 3 to 5 inches across Maine and the highlands of Vermont and New Hampshire. You can pick up a few inches of snow from those snow showers that's taking place today. And 1 to 3 inches of snow will be possible across upstate New York, western Massachusetts, and parts of Connecticut and elsewhere. And if you're in Pennsylvania, western New York, you guys are going to see less than an inch of snow from those snow showers right now. So here we are as we talk about that cold weather. Wind chills. Okay, in my opinion, the strength of this Arctic outbreak is a little bit less than originally forecasted. So I think that we're catching a break as far as extremes of this Arctic outbreak, so that's some good news. But we're still looking at a winter weather and a wind chill advisory across much of the South and the Ohio Valley and the upper Midwest. In the high plains, we're going to see that wind chill warning. I think that's where the bulk of the coldest air is. So Iowa, parts of Illinois, Missouri, Kansas, Nebraska, Colorado, Wyoming, and Montana, and the Dakotas. Minnesota, I don't think we're doing that bad, all things considered. I actually saw the temperature go from 8 below during the early evening to 3 below to at like 3 in the morning. So the temperature actually rose slightly overnight across Minnesota. So that is, that happens a lot here where you can have the temperatures actually rise at night because of the change in the winds or a decrease in the winds or different synoptic events that happen during the night. And we can see that, and that's what we saw last night. And these cold temperatures, the good news is that its days are numbered. This is going to be a fairly brief cold outbreak, as those warmer temperatures will be back. And by the time we get around the 21st, it's the 16th, 17th already. So about 3 or 4 days from now, we will see the warmer temperatures come in from the west as high pressure will build in from the west. We'll see another storm move across from the northwest to the northeast. This was going to be mostly affecting the northern tier, and we're going to see another branch of that storm affect the southeast, but we're going to take a look at that in just a moment. So here are record lows so far today. We saw some record low temperatures. Stillwater, Oklahoma, we saw a record low of -4. In Midland, Texas, saw a record low of 11. Harrison, Arkansas was -3. And McAllen, Texas had a record low of 28. In Laredo, Texas, Laredo was way down there by the Mexican border, so they had a morning low of 25. That's pretty cold down there across the desert city of Laredo, because that is a very dry city. Here is another areas that can break some potential record lows tomorrow morning. As you can see, a lot of areas across the plains, down through the southern plains and the lower Mississippi River Valley and parts of the upper Midwest as well could break some record lows, or the mid-south, we could say. The upper Mississippi River Valley, we could see some record lows potentially broken tomorrow morning. And then here is that wintry precipitation that we've been seeing across the South and along the Gulf Coast. We still have a winter weather advisory, as we can see some freezing rain and sleet along parts of the Gulf Coast, so Louisiana, southern Mississippi, Alabama, and West Florida. We can see a few slippery spots from that freezing rain and some sleet that's falling across that area. So, but we're going to start to see this activity begin to wind down. Now, we saw some tornadoes yesterday across the state of Florida. We had 3 EF0 tornadoes blow through, or EF1. A couple of them were EF1s. There were 3 tornadoes yesterday across Central Florida, and we're going to be seeing that possibility again for damaging winds, and a few tornadoes is going to be possible again today across the state of Florida, as we have some a slight risk, a marginal risk again for some severe thunderstorms across Central Florida today. So we can pick up that as well. And in the Pacific Northwest, we got severe weather of a different sort, of the wintry sort. So we got an ice storm warning across northern Oregon, so Eugene, Salem, up to Portland. We have a ice storm warning, as we have those icing conditions where we can pick up about a ½ inch or more of freezing rain and sleet across the western slopes of the Cascade mountains there. So the Cascade Mountains westward toward the coastline, we can see the potential for freezing rain across Oregon. And we have next 3 days, we have the glaze and ice across the Pacific Northwest as that next storm system crashes on shore. So we're going to be seeing that freezing rain potential for Seattle, Olympia, Portland, Salem again, and then Pendleton and Bend, Oregon. So along I-84, we're going to see that potential for that freezing rain and sleet, and we're going to be seeing that freezing rain and sleet along the I-5 corridor as well across the Pacific Northwest. So here are those ice impacts. We're going to talk about that really quick. So if you get a 1/4 inch or less of ice, we can be seeing minor power outages, as some power lines can be stressed by that and can create some minor outages. Light ice on trees and windshields can be coated with that layer of ice as well. So you'll be out there scrape, 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 scrape. This is when you need a brush won't do. You need that scraper thing. Scrape, scrape, scrape to break that ice up. You pick up a 1/4 to a ½ inch of ice, numerous power outages. You can get tree damage as well, and the roads will become very slick and slippery, as well as walking paths and porches and things like that will become slippery. So personal injuries are become more common in that situation. And then if you pick up more than ½ inch, you can see widespread power outages, because the ice sticks to trees and power lines, and that ice get very heavy and it can snap power lines. Trees can come down as well. It can break down trees, and dangerous to travel, because it becomes impossible to stop, and your vehicle lose contact with the road surface, and you're just sliding across the ice. And you really see a lot of personal injuries with this kind of situation, as well, as that ice is quite heavy and quite thick. So again, I like to be careful and take care of yourself. Don't travel if it's not necessary. If you can do it later or another day, just think about doing that, where you can limit the risk for yourself and others as far as personal injury or traffic accidents, okay? Your winter weather alerts across the northwestern United States through Thursday is as follows. If you're in the Oregon area, you're going to mostly see a winter weather advisory, and you're going to be seeing, well, we got a winter storm watch, a winter storm watch across, I'm sorry, again, I did it wrong. Winter weather advisory across most of Oregon there. If you are eastern Oregon, like Burns, you are under a winter storm warning in that area along the eastern slopes there. And if you're in Idaho, we're going to be seeing a winter weather advisory with a winter storm warning to the north. Same thing for northern Montana. So Kalispell, Great Falls, Havre, Missoula, you guys are winter storm warning. winter storm watch is in effect across southern Montana as well. So still a lot of wintry weather across the western half of the United States and northern Rockies. So if you're on I-84, I-90, if you're driving the trucks or anything, please be careful in those areas. And then we have our next winter storm that's going to be bringing in ice across the Pacific Northwest. We're going to be seeing rain showers through California, snow in the Sierra Nevadas. We're even going to see rain all the way down to LA, San Diego, and into parts of western Arizona. But we're going to see snow across the Rockies, some snow across the northern plains and the upper Midwest and into the Great Lakes. We will see some snow, not a whole lot with that system, but it's going to pick up a lot of juice as it hits the East Coast. So we're going to see that rain across the Southeast with some severe thunderstorms down through Florida once again and across the Southeast. So this storm is going to definitely increase in strength and size once it pushes toward the East Coast and can tap into Gulf of Mexico moisture. But while it's moving over the continental U.S., we're going to be seeing lighter precipitation amounts like from Minnesota and the Dakotas and the upper Midwest. So not as much snow for you for those areas. But as we head to the east, we're going to pick up a lot of snow in the Northeast into New England and the Mid-Atlantic once again, as we kind of could develop this storm is going to take more of a inland track toward the Northeast instead of a nor'easter pattern. So we're going to pick up a lot of snow possibly from that scenario. And we can still see a lot of rain along the I-95 corridor once again. But we'll have to fine-tune things as it gets closer and more details and the models become available about that next storm system there, okay? So that is your weather forecast. I think it was a shorter video today. All in all, it's not as much to talk about today as we have had over the last several days. But it is a little bit of exciting news for the Northeast and the 95 corridor, finally picking up some measurable snow, even if it's only a few inches. That was a change for them. That's some good news. And the other good news is that this cold snap is going to be a little bit short-lived. It's only a few days left to go before we start to see things drastically change. Like, we're going to see those temperatures go from those single digits to the 30s and 40s across much of the Midwest. So get ready for that, folks. So my name is Mr. G. Thank you for watching me today. Leave your likes and comments. Subscribe to the TikTok channel or follow the TikTok channel and subscribe to me on YouTube. And I will see you guys all tomorrow. Have a great day and be safe out there. Bye-bye.